Welcome back to STL Live. I'm Raynah Rey. My guests today are Jasmin, Aber of CEL, and joining us is also Joanna D. Doss, PhD at Washington University. Thank you for being with us here. And when we left, we said we were going to come back and talk about some of the projects that are going on over there in East St. Louis, and how Joanna joined forces with you because you said there were so many people that are helping this project and helping this community along. So tell me why it's important to bring Joanna in.
Well, Joanna has done her PhD on Katherine Dunham, and in my book she's an authority, and we were very lucky. She just moved in St. Louis as we were having our Katherine Dunham event at CEL, so we can actually put this on people's radar. And she gave a great talk. In fact, I'm sure you should ask her. Her book is coming out in fall, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I will. So you mentioned Katherine Dunham because the Katherine Dunham Museum is in East St. Louis.
Yes, so these are one of our initial community partners: Katherine Dunham Museum, House of Miles Davis, Jackie Joyner Kersey, and also a church, Community Life Church. Mm-hmm. But as we are meeting the people, the more centers are getting involved, and we're very happy that the Cultural Commission, the Commission for the Race Riots, is also a voice at the table.
Let me ask Joanna about the Katherine Dunham Museum and why it's such a big deal to restore this and to make it one of the jewels and the places that people can go visit.
Sure. Well, Katherine Dunham was one of the greatest artists of the 20th century, and she then ended up spending most of the last 40 years of her life in East St. Louis, taking her tremendous career as an international dancer and choreographer, and taking all that knowledge and talent she had and brought it to East St. Louis to open a performing arts training center for the youth of East St. Louis. And as a component of that, she decided to start a museum. She was inspired, when she went to Senegal in 1966, she was inspired by what Dakar, Senegal had what was called a dynamic museum, a museum where people could touch things and interact with the objects. And for Dunham, she thought this was a great idea and wanted to bring it back to East St. Louis. And so she had all of her objects from her 30 years of traveling around the world, instruments, musical instruments, paintings, other objects and artifacts that the students could interact with and engage with. And so now that dynamic museum has become the museum for Katherine Dunham overall, a place where people from all over the world can come to learn about this great artist. And I think it's one of the great treasures of this region, and I'm really looking forward to seeing CEL's plans develop for making this museum a destination.
Sure, and as an artist yourself and a fan of Katherine Dunham, how essential is it to the community, to the area, to have this museum restored?
It's very vital. I mean, it's part of the cultural heritage of this region, and she's an inspirational figure not only for her artistry but also for her activism. And she's a true inspiration for how we can think of artists as contributing and giving back to communities and for engendering social change. And so I think of her as a tremendous force in this region, and someone who everyone should learn about in a museum. Visiting the museum is a great way to do so.
Wonderful. And Jasmin, what is your hope overall in this project that you're doing? What are you hoping to really give to this area?
Well, I don't know if the map has come up yet, but there is a phase one where by defining a phase one of a cultural asset mapping, so creating a brand in a way, a new narrative for East St. Louis that people from all over the world, not just the region, would want to come and visit Katherine Dunham's museum, House of Miles Davis, and Jackie Joyner Kersey. And these are just three names that, three legends. It's not just names beyond all borders. So people would come, and this would really lead to economic development through culture and art. So our area of specialty is to use art and culture as catalyst for change. And this will be the beginning of a strategic plan that uses art and culture.
Wonderful. Well, it is an amazing plan.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see the finished project, although this is a project that could go on forever and ever and ever, the more you find. We've got to go. Thank you so much for being with us
Thank you.
here today. For more information on CEL or the public events discussing development of East St. Louis, visit creativeexchangelab.com. There's more STL Live after this. Stay with us.